Welcome back to Roll the Story FM. So, you guys,
No, no.
yeah, cool.
Worst music you've ever heard every hour of the day.
All right, and to take us back in, it's Llewellyn for the recap. Take it away. Do-do-do-do.
So last session was a bit more chill than usual. We all got to have role-playing moments, and it started off with wanting to find out what was in Kashan's egg. And he wanted to do it privately with Andy, and I, as Llewellyn, snuck in invisibly to find out what it was and found that it was a statuette of a rock. The bird. Or something
Statuette of a rock.
A pet.
Not back to a rock.
or something similar.
An exotic desert bird from the continent of the Claude Coast.
Yeah, but you said it was similar to a rock.
Yes, similar.
Now I'm
And
just picturing Dwayne Johnson inside that little
Like fetal position.
oh no.
Sorry, I'll be quiet now.
And then I decided to tease Kashan about it, which initiated an invisibility combat, which was just him wailing on me while I was laughing. After all that, he wanted me to come see him in an hour, and everybody else was doing their own thing, and Llewellyn was going on to speak to no, he's the one on the screen. Drip Drap.
Ripped it.
Drip Dip. There's so many names! Because I wanted him to help me destroy a book. A monstrous book. Not my spell book, though.
A super valuable book.
A super, super monstrous book that could create abominations in the wrong hands. We managed to destroy it and get rid of it, and then I was called out to the deck to have a look at some sort of device that Carius had brought up.
A motorcycle.
A motor, yeah.
I thought it was a cow for a second, and then
And it seemed to be some sort of farming device.
sorry.
There's the doorbell that you wanted.
Yes, some sort of ancient combine harvester.
Yeah.
I've got an ancient combine harvester.
Oh my god.
Chipping in this recap.
And I did that, and then suddenly I was called over somewhere else because Kashan wanted me. Because it had been an hour. And we had a very heartwarming moment where we spoke about my past and his previous character, and my motives and his issues that he had about a month ago with my book, which I didn't realize was such an issue. And it was a nice moment. And then we all got called out to the boat deck because there was some sort of circular thing in the water, and we thought it might be a portal, and we cleaned it up and checked it, and it seemed to be part of the temple we might be looking for that's falling down from the islands above. So I decided to fly up. After I got levitated and pushed like a flying, levitating mage who got injured by Kashan propelling him with his staff. But yeah, and then I flew upwards and found flying fish, but dead, and a giant mouth that tried to also eat me, but I managed to dodge it.
You're getting ahead of yourself there, but yes.
But that's what.
Right. And lastly, the details on said strange circular device. They were of this moon cycle, you thought, but then also it seemed to be another inner depiction, perhaps of the cycle of the sun, but you're not too sure what it's supposed to represent. If it was just a cycle, why would it be on a disc? And that's when Irina came to the conclusion that it must have been part of something else, like a single like ring on something else, otherwise known as an orre, or a lots of names for it. Hold on.
An astrolabe.
Yes. or an armillary sphere, something of the type. Which she's not really into all of that spacey wacy stuff, but apparently it's stuff to be able to represent all the celestial longitudes and latitudes of surrounding spheres, surrounding celestial bodies. Anyway, yeah, it predicts the relative positions and motions of the planets and moons. Anyway, you have, yes, as you say, gone up into the air. You suddenly got hit by this wet fish, and you could smell the stench of something. You then heard a huge bellowing, not roar, but more like just a
Gurgle.
a continuous outburst of belching, and that's when more and more fish, rotten fish, just came kind of landing on top of you.
I thought with my dexterity, I
You
dodged.
did manage to dodge a lot of them, but you did get slapped about by a couple, of course. That's unavoidable. So if the girls are back and Cameron, no, Cameron's gone.
We're here, but we're eating, so muted.
Let's go.
I may just stick a post-it note over the camera while we eat.
Sorry, I'm just in the other room, but I'm listening in, don't worry.
Okay, then. In that case, all right, let's do it.
I will attempt to fly back down.
Yeah, well, about that. I'm gonna need you and possibly the whole crew to roll initiative, because as this huge bellowing goes off, you can hear the wind suddenly rushing. Something is fast approaching. You've disturbed its resting place, perhaps?
Really, Carius has a 0.02 lead on me. What?
I have slightly more dex than you.
Do you?
Yeah, I have a 14 in dex. You have a 12.
Jeez.
Oh, what?
And despite that, Cam goes before us. Despite
Oh yeah.
because
Oh,
because he has a 20 in dex.
Oh my
I'm starting
god.
to think it's not the internet or Facebook, it's just my upload speed.
Why?
Weird, because I can't even upload a single token. It's like loading and loading. Well, good old pen and paper it is. I'll be using my dice to roll for this one. Cool.
Wait, so your roll 20 is not working very well right now.
It's uploading an image, which has taken like a good 20 minutes of the recap and into the actual. Yep, it's good times. So
Use a pseudo image.
I can't do anything on my roll 20 because it's just uploading. So we'll do something else.
So I'm making my own token. Oh, heck.
All right, so we have, holy crap, 20. Well, it looks like it's going first.
Really?
Followed by Irina.
What's with the angry fish?
Bunch of green.
Angry fish.
He's smelly.
Followed by Andy. Then
We've wasted so many
Curious.
spells.
And we gotta make him mean.
Velen.
We've actually wasted so many spells
I don't know
because
how you managed to get all the way down there on the list. But
oh no.
it looks like this thing's going first. All right, this huge bellowing belch goes and you hear it echo out. Everyone aboard the ship also hears it. It's not too far away by the sounds, but it is far enough that it is completely submerged in cloud cover. And Llewellyn, you're experiencing a whiteout right now. And as you try to turn around to get away from whatever this oncoming thing is, it starts, well, coming towards you. That sound, a heavy mass of an object starts coming towards you. You can feel the air being displaced. And let's see what happens.
That's amazing.
I don't know what's happening, but sure.
So someone's drawn a giant fish on the screen.
It's me.
You can't see what it is. You don't even know.
Sorry for doing this in my game as well. Literally, he's literally drawn like cows everywhere on Noodle Mountain.
All right. Well, you won't be laughing for long because I believe a 20-something hits you.
Yeah.
20-something.
Yeah, I can't even know. No, actually, it's in the 30s. My bad. It's like 30.
What?
32 to hit.
What?
Trying to shoot.
That has like a plus 12 at least.
Wow. Okay.
I don't have anything that can stop that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. You don't really see it coming. Is the problem? You're still up in this huge amount of cloud cover, and that belching gets closer and closer and closer, and then finally, you suddenly feel this huge. It feels like you've been hit by the island itself, and you take 2, 12. You take 12 points of bludgeoning, followed by some acid damage, apparently. Another 3 points of acid.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So as you're slammed by this thing, you feel your whole body get ragdolled in the air. You do need to make a con save for the fly. No, who's concentrating on that?
Me.
Oh, okay. Roll a concentration check.
But I would like. No, actually, yeah, no, I'll keep it. Yeah. I was gonna say maybe I should drop it, but.
Okay, I'm just gonna cancel that. Okay.
Please stop.
All right. It's gonna end its go, I think. No, wait. 2 attacks.
Oh no.
And what was the tail? All right, yeah. So the tail's coming in. All right. So woof. Let's see if we hit with this thing.
Oh, the tail's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 28 to hit.
Yes.
Cool. One's not as bad. I joke. I rolled really high. As you think the worst is gone, you're like flying through the air. You suddenly see this huge object flying around, like not from above, but to the side, as if something is whipping around and flanking you. And you can't even tell if it's the same object from a different direction or if it's 2 enemies. And you're slammed for 21 plus 8. So 29 points of damage. This
Oh.
thing.
Sorry, what was
really.
that about Kashan needs to die this arc?
Yeah, so
And I need another con save.
even if I pass this, which actually no, I don't even pass that. I don't even pass that anyway because you say it was 28.
That's right, you're 1 off.
But I was going to say I'm going to drop it anyway because I would rather be down in the sea than up there right now.
Okay, alright. After that, it is
Swan dive down.
Irina. You just heard this huge bellow above, and you can actually see rotten fish falling past where Llewellyn flew up and landing in the water behind you, and some land on the deck of the ship, but whatever it's up there, it must be massive.
Oh no, Llewellyn turned into a bunch of moldy fish.
No.
Like, we've seen him transform into animals, so I just assume he's exploded into, like, fish. In high altitude, you don't know what that does to a person.
And lastly, you do start to see a huge shape, like an outline within the clouds. It looks like an island is like perhaps falling on top of you guys.
Can I see Lavelle?
I am free falling right now.
Roll me
Well,
a
swan
perception
diving.
check.
Sorry.
Roll a perception check.
Perception. Nope.
The sky is falling.
I'm more concerned about the fish. I legitimately think he's turned into all these moldy fish.
Okay. You don't see him. He flew up quite high and into the cloud cover. No idea where he is now.
Okay, Okay. So, moldy fish falling from nowhere. Can't see Lavella. Big thing floating in the sky.
Coming down. It's falling, whatever it is.
Oh, it's coming down towards us, is it?
Yeah.
Trajectory-wise, is it gonna land on the boat?
Yes.
Oh, I've made that perfect placement.
You can guess, perhaps, yes. Just from judging.
I mean, I don't know it's a thing, right? I think it's an island, you said.
Yeah, it looks like as big as an island.
Oh. How far away is it at this point?
And you did hear it. You might not think it's an island. It's as big as one. You definitely heard that bellowing belch sound. Could be a creature. But how far away is it? Difficult to judge with the distance of the cloud cover. What spell are you thinking, which has a range of what now?
Yeah, it's got a 90-foot range, so I don't even know if it'll work. So it's
That might be a spell you'd have to hold until you can cast it. Like it's in range, effectively. That's going to be the best bet, is to hold that spell and then wait.
So actually, that's what I'm holding. I'm holding Hold Monster. That's the only thing I can think of right now that's useful.
You're holding hold.
Hold it.
Literally.
All right, that's a good shout. All right, you wait for
It'll
that.
work, but like, I don't know what it is.
All right. Okay, so you prepare. Hey, the image just uploaded. Oh my god, awesome.
And I'm literally just gonna start gesturing to the boat to get the rick out of Dodge.
Okay, gotcha. To the rest of the crew, you shout this. They immediately start pulling the sails and like maneuvering the boat as best they can.
And I'm literally just gonna point at Carius and then point at the boat and be like, help it move!
Okay. All right,
Don't get a choice, do it!
Andy, you're up.
Unmute yourself. There you go.
I don't know if she's probably just staring at this like, what the heck is going on? Can I see if I spot Lavellum free falling?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And then what was it you made? Perception. 14.
You definitely heard a loud slap noise, and as you glance up to see where Llewellyn was, he's definitely not where he flew up. But you do catch sight of something whistling through the clouds, as if maybe...
Another cloud, he's dressed in white.
Yeah, pretty much. You swear you saw something out the corner of your eye. He's been hit so hard and so far that he's no longer even in the closest place where he once was.
Okay.
He's left a wake of like empty cloud, you know, when something goes through air, it's just like pushed it all away.
Okay. Well, I can't do that. None of that's gonna work.
Lull it to sleep.
I don't know. Do we want a giant thing that is falling from the sky to fall asleep and still land on us?
I mean, if you play a song that's fast enough, it might start dancing.
That's definitely not going to happen.
You don't know.
No, but I know what happens when something very heavy falls on something very fragile.
And I am very fragile.
Sean, get up here and attack it.
I wonder, can it even leave the clouds? Because the islands were supported by the clouds. So maybe it swims in them like a strange sea? Whatever it is.
Do you think if it hits the water, then it's going to drown?
I mean, honestly, it's possible.
Pull it down. Pull it down.
I'm just gonna hold a cloud of daggers until it's within 60 feet, because that's all I can think of to do for the time being.
Okay. Not a bad idea. Sure.
I mean, a little puny arrow is probably not going to do much on this thing.
Right.
Like, looking at a little bow, thinking, yeah, not going to work.
Okay. That's going to end your go. At the end of your go, might as well make a legendary action, hadn't I? So,
No!
Actually, no, don't worry, carry on.
okay.
I'm gonna go comfort eat some food now.
Dude,
I'm going to use a legendary action to move. So it's not as bad as what you think.
Okay.
It's just a move action. Oh my god, what is this damn fish? Right. What you're expecting to come out is not a tiny little fish. Oh god, no. No, it is far bigger. At first, you start to see the tips of the island start to peek through the clouds, as if something is perhaps pushing down so hard and so heavy that even they are like peeking through the actual cloud cover. Following that is what can only be described as a monstrosity that dwarfs anything you've seen up to this point. Bigger than that sea creature, bigger than the ship itself. This thing could quite possibly be some sort of primal force in the world that you have no idea where it's come from or how long it has been up there. It doesn't perhaps even notice you being alive. You feel like ants in the presence of it.
Bigger than
And
a void holder?
as it pushes its head through the clouds, you see a giant maw open up and start consuming the sky. Here.
This ain't that adorable you're looking for, is it?
That's
big.
quite big.
Hold on. Even
That's
the image is
so big.
even the image is big.
What are we looking at here?
It's
Hold on.
thick.
Yeah, I think the image is big.
Even the image is.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
There we go. There we go. boys
Wait.
and-
Wait, that.
Is that actually Sin from Final?
No, it's not.
It looks
This
like
is the thing you see coming out, and it dwarfs the islands. Its head emerges, and you just see waves of clouds sort of billowing behind it, and it hasn't just fully all the way come out. This is possibly only just part of its head. But you start to see way up in the distance, beneath other islands, more of its tail section seems to come out. Yeah, and it's just used its move action. That's all. As a legendary action, it's moved into view.
I got hit by that and survived.
Well, Jamie, you wanted a fucking sky whale. You got a sky whale.
You do have your held actions, both Andean and Irina.
Oh god.
Yeah, mine, it has to be within 90 feet of me for me to
Yeah.
cast.
It's moved up to that.
Okay, in which case I need a wisdom saving throw.
Oh my god, you got.
Okay.
It's a whole monster, it's not gonna hurt it. It's just gonna hold it in place.
I will wait to see the reaction before I let my.
Like, my plan is just to hold it in place and then get the boat out of the way.
Okay. I will act as attack immediately.
You use your violin as a paddle, and maybe that'll make the boat go a little bit faster.
Excuse me?
Oh! I think 25 might be.
As you're distracted by Andy just nattering away, you're trying to grab a hold of this thing, and you look like you may have grabbed a hold of perhaps one tiny fin on its head, but the rest of the body just keeps on coming.
That was a wisdom save?
That was a wisdom saving throw.
What?
Andy, you're also making a cloud of daggers at the same time. So, dexterity save from it?
I kind of don't want to now.
Well, that's up to you. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
It's that meme. Fuck, go back.
Yep. Yep. Turn it off. So how does it work? What did she actually need for it? She doesn't need anything for it. You can see that she's probably starting to do her usual kind of thing to start a cloud of daggers, and then she's like, nope.
Okay.
We need to run away, y'all.
She just like hides in her cloak, like I didn't do nothing.
Oh. All right.
Run, Forrest, run.
Okay, then in that case, moving along, Carius.
Technically, it'd be Kashan before me because he got 6.2.
Even
Okay.
with
They
that.
did nat 1, so I don't know how you treat nat 1s.
Fly,
I
Kashan,
delete him
fly.
off eternal. He doesn't get to play with a network.
Yeah,
Token.
6.2 for me.
You guys are all at the same time, so it really doesn't matter. If you want to do some sort of combined crap, you can.
Right, so Karis's first move is going to be to look back at the ship, look at this giant thing, so be like looking at its trajectory, and then just be like, right, wave bends Liamana, let's just control water to change the direction of the ship. While staring at this thing. It's like,
Sure.
ship go different ways, so you're not about to be hit by this thing. And then Carius is going to do exactly what he's been told and fly. He is going to fly up in front of this thing, and he is going to shout at it.
What?
Like dragon shout.
I am going to shout at it in... Ah, damn it.
Your mother was a goldfish,
I don't...
and your father was stuck at
It
SeaWorld.
appears to be a sky whale, so I'm going to try to shout it in Auran first, just like... I'm just going to shout, I'm going to cycle through each of my languages, just yelling at it to stop, to see if it responds to any of them. So that's Common, Infernal, and all 4 primordial tongues.
Okay. There is, I'm afraid, no response and no sign of it slowing down. The one thing you can tell as you get about, closer, is it doesn't even like look at you. You can't tell where an eye might be. It's just such a huge creature that to make yourself known, you'd have to be like a flashing beacon. But what you do notice is it's just continually eating the clouds as it sort of swims through them. The other thing you notice is there are obviously waterfalls that are kind of tipped from the side of the side of the islands, and some of them are also pouring into its mouth as well. But it doesn't seem to show any signs of like.
I'm just sort of floating in front of it, just being like holding up, like no weapons being held, just sort of flying down my glaive, just like holding up hands, like stop.
Yeah. Alright. Brave man. Okay. At the end of your go.
Levellans?
Yep. No, it's gonna do something at the end of its go because he moved up into its range. It's gonna slam past you, I'm afraid.
Where's my go?
You do have a go, it's just got a legendary action. Okay. 13. No, I'll take not 13. Sorry. It's a 19 to hit.
That's
I think only I could dodge that.
I mean, yes, that's a hit.
Okay, cool.
Bye,
Right.
Harry.
And in response, it is being struck by lightning because I'm going to trigger my ability back at it. I'm
20. Max damage.
That was my damage. There's more.
So I'm triggering that in response. assuming I survive this. So is that 29 damage?
That is 29 damage, as it doesn't seem to like try to hit you or anything. It just sort of swims past, and in its sidewinding motion, it knocks you aside, and you feel this huge slam against your body, and you take 29 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yep. And in
the-
response, I hit it with lightning.
Okay, the lightning damage does seem to actually have an effect by the looks, because it's covered in
Oh, wait,
vapor.
that's the wrong
Yes.
ability.
That doesn't do any damage.
That's the wrong one. Yeah, oh no. Is it that one? Yes, sorry, it's that one I was trying to do, so it needs to make a dex save. And if this thing is high dexterity, I will be annoyed.
Despite its massive form, it is still swimming through. But yeah, we'll see what it gets.
I can imagine it only has low charisma. That is my guess.
Be a
I think it
surprise
fails
by a
that.
god.
Plus
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, it fails.
Yep.
So it will take 2d8 lightning damage. Like, I just get hit by giant fish heads, and I'm just like, lightning!
All right, this thing does seem to actually get hit by the lightning. It surges and like floods through its flesh, or is it flesh? You suddenly see that the electricity actually enters into its body, and you see it flashing throughout it, almost like its outer layer might be some sort of translucent membrane. Though it's maybe it's a play on the light up here. You're not sure. Either way, it does seem to have an effect. Okay, that is going to take some damage. Okay. All right. Now it's Kashan. Well, Llewellyn, you roll. Did Llewellyn get?
I rolled better than the pair of them.
Rolled one.
Yeah.
Rolled 6.2.
Yeah.
And we
I
got
rolled
6.1.
6.14 and Bellum rolled 6.12, so...
Comment.
So Kshan's just gonna look up at it and go, yeah, I think I could throw that back. He's going to climb to the top of the mast
catch a fish.
and you don't know. You don't know what to do. I'm a melee.
Still about 90 foot away from the boat.
Yeah, he's just gonna stand there like linked from Majora's Mask at the top of the clock tower. Just-
Catch a fish, throw it back.
well, I can't really do anything, so I'm just gonna hold it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Llewellyn, you begin falling rapidly away from the danger, but also looking down, you do see the sea is fast approaching.
Yes. So I've just been here, and as I'm falling, because this is all in a very short period of time, I'm going to attempt, while falling, to polymorph it.
To polymorph it.
Oh my god.
You heard it.
Oh!
Wisdom save is plus 10, so fingers crossed for more.
Dean!
Come on.
Alright.
Holy crap.
Is this the day we kill a god?
I will roll it with them.
Come on. Yes!
It will be
Yes!
a
Into
legendary resistance.
No!
Yep,
Damn it.
Sorry, that's one legendary resistance.
it does indeed. You start to see its form like shift and warble and shimmer for just a second before you see again another sort of billowing of clouds sort of just flies through it, and it seems to somehow shrug off the spell. A creature this size is so difficult to sort of squeeze into such a tiny body, but you start to see its form sort of almost liquidate for just a split second. Anyway,
So I tried to look this up in terms of falling, and there's no actual rules behind it. But someone worked it out science-wise, and I would fall 192 feet in my turn.
Yeah, you're probably gonna hit the water.
So as I start to fall close enough to the boat, I'm gonna feather fall down to it as a reaction.
Okay, you can feather fall, but you're getting slapped such as because you flew up from the ring, didn't you?
Hmm?
And then
Yeah.
you got slapped from the ring.
Yeah, but the boat was
Okay.
never.
All right. Well,
Right.
in that case, then I'd like you to roll me an acrobatics check because
Yeah.
you're not beneath. You're not like directly above the boat.
Just see if I can like how people who skydive could control how they move.
Right. You pull out your robe and like.
Oh,
Okay.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Which you've actually probably seen because Carius does similar things when he does his flying squirrel.
Yeah, the villain has adopted the flying squirrel technique and swoops back down, light as a feather, onto the deck of the ship.
Using the
While
ropes.
the Carius is concentrating on moving the actual ship itself. You do have to adjust for that as well, but a 20 will net it. So,
Wait, does that mean I would have had to make a concentration check?
for the control water, yes.
Yeah, okay. Wait, I have advantage on these because of Warcaster, so at least there's that.
Cool. Alright, DC.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Alright. Knowing that it is.
Whoa, Chris, your camera went all pink and sparkly for a moment.
Oh,
It's the whale.
I didn't see it.
That was terrifying for a moment.
Yeah, alright, so, okay, knowing that it is imperative that the ship gets out of the way in time, you concentrate on it despite being slammed by this island-sized creature. The end of the round, we're back to its turn. The Vern, you're safely aboard the ship, and it comes down towards it. So, controlling the water, how much do you actually move with it?
Oh god, control water. Let me just check, because I'm...
By the way, Irina, did you attune to that shield that I gave you?
It's a 4th level spell. Pretty good.
Don't remember.
Yeah, you cause flying water in the area to move in a direction you choose, even if the water has to flow over obstacles, up pools, or another unlike direction. So, essentially, and it can affect a cube up to 100 feet on a side.
That's gonna be pretty crucial in moving an entire boat. So I
Yeah.
will say, let me just measure out the boat real quick.
I mean, particularly because this
Oh,
is
yeah, that does it.
Wavebender's Liamano, which is kind of designed for ships.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cameron's just raised an interesting point. Sorry to interrupt. Would I have had time to attune to the shield while we were on the boat?
Yeah, it's been like a whole day's travel.
Perfect. There we go. So yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be able to.
This vessel is slowly pushed out of the way. Obviously, everyone aboard the ship is operating the sails, and you see Captain Monty Pot has come out onto the deck, and he's looking up wide-eyed at it, saying, "I'd wondered why these islands were uncharted. It would seem it was not for lack of trying." And he says, "Quick, hard to starboard, now!" And as he's pulling on the wheel with all his might, the water from beneath the ship pushes it out of the way, and instead this creature slams down into the water and creates what can only be described as a small tsunami. And I need, let's have a look, yeah, 250 feet high. Oh my god. This
Oh
huge
my
wave,
god, you just triggered the tsunami spell.
250 foot wide, 200 feet long, yeah, 250 foot high and 50 foot thick, appears and slams into the side of the boat. I need everyone to make me a strength saving throw.
I'm not on the boat.
I'm in
No.
the sky.
Very true.
I'm still on this artifact.
Everyone who's on the boat, make me a strength save.
I'm feather fall, so that makes me lighter.
If you're on the
I'm
boat,
not lucky.
Oh crap! You're not Raven, are you?
No, I'm not Raven.
No.
Okay.
No
if it
one.
was a dexterity, then I would have been okay.
My God.
She's a little squishy.
Oh my
teenager.
God. Oh my God. Andy's been knocked into the sea. She can't swim. From what we know.
Not good.
Cam just holding on to. Kashan just holding on to the crow's nest, just like.
Cam, try the tidal wave back.
Can you was it deflect missile or tidal?
Just deflect the whale.
Well, that was my aim, was to tidal wave it back into the sky.
So saying, just keep catching fish and chucking them back.
Yeah.
Oh. Everyone, literally everyone, because no one succeeded there, takes 31 points of bludgeoning damage as this wall of water hits the side of the boat and slams everyone aboard it.
Besides
even-
bitch, no one succeeded?
No
Hey.
one succeeded. No.
Hey, guys.
Not even an 18.
No.
I'm
Not even
down. I'm down.
Okay.
Holy crap, that's knocked you unconscious.
I only had 30 health left after those hits.
Wow. Goodness gracious. Okay. And at the start of each of its turns, something else will be happening. But for now, you guys have just been hit by the blast. You can feel yourself being pushed, but you're not flying off the boat just yet. Alright. That's going to end its go. Irina. Again, to you, it still doesn't feel like he's actually going for you. He just landed in the water and boom, this splash hit the
Yeah.
boat. You're in the wall of water, by the way, at this point. Everyone is in the water. Not the actual... So, to explain it, you're not in the water as in the ocean, but the wall, the tsunami has hit the boat and has engulfed everyone, and you're all underwater right now.
I'm not on the boat.
Okay, yeah, that's all right. Everyone else, you can see that's happening. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the shield obviously can cast control water
Mm-hmm.
by using 4 of the 5 charges. Is that an action?
It is, yes.
Sweet. In which case, I'm gonna do that.
Click the control water spell, carriers.
I don't actually have the spell. I was using the Wavebender's Liamano for it. It's actually a spell I don't have. I have control.
Okay,
wind.
alright. Okay, tell me what you'd like to do then, if you're controlling the water.
I'm just reading the spell
There's
now.
a lot there, isn't there? Yeah.
There is a lot to it.
I wish to yeet.
Yeah, 'cause I think you've got the full version of it, don't you? I only have the control direction.
There's so much here. Okay, I don't want to flood anything.
You could part the water where everyone
Water?
is.
Yeah, so that way. Yeah, but like there's water everywhere.
They're inside the 50-foot thick wall.
So you could split, because you've got a 100-foot cube, you
Alright.
could literally split the tidal wave.
Okay, I'm standing on this broken artifact. Arms outstretched, and I'm gonna do a Moses and part the water.
Excellent. Well, that's
Yeah.
actually going to save lives, because you see, as everyone was lifted up off the boat, they were literally about to be pushed 50 foot away and off the side of the boat. And you yank the water aside from one another, parting this tidal wave, and you see everyone fall to the deck, like with a thud. They are all soaking wet, but alive, mostly. I think the only one who looks to be not moving is Llewellyn, but you stopped his limp body from flying into the ocean, at least.
And how far away is the boat from me?
They were, because you were sidling alongside it. I would say you're no more than like 40 foot away.
Okay, Candlewick's gonna hate me, but I'm gonna dive in the water and start swimming towards the boat.
Okay, gotcha. All right, that's gonna end its go, and your go, sorry.
That is-
Andy, you are prone, but you can get up on your turn now, and take in what just happened. You're in between a wall of water that's just submerged the whole ship. But the very midsection of the boat seems to be somehow magically parted. It's like a
And
huge.
heat plus water equals not very happy Andy.
Yeah.
She probably looks like a complete and utter drowned rat right now, especially with the amount of hair she's actually got. Yeah, or drenched cousin it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, she's gonna try and get up again, and I think to try and prevent that from happening, she will cast Fly on herself so she can get higher in case another tidal wave decides to happen.
Mm-hmm.
On
Alright.
soggy violin strings.
Alright, so you fly up. Do you want to go like 30 foot or something?
Yeah, basically for as high as
Okay.
she's able to go in this turn. Oh, your flying speed becomes 60, so
Okay.
she'll go up the full 60
Alright.
just to get away.
Alright, yeah, sure. You fly up as high as you can off the boat, and from this angle, you can tell that actual vessel has taken significant damage. A lot of the side has been smashed. The hull looks battered. Some of the masts have snapped. Yeah, it definitely dealt double damage to structures and vessels. So it's a siege monster. Okay, end your go, and we're up to. Let's take a legendary action, shall we? Yeah, because Irina, you jumped into the water. Why not? We'll do this. Slam on. Actually, we'll move. We'll use legendary action to move towards you first of all, because it's only just landed in the water. So you start to feel something coming towards you, Irina. It's large. It's the creature, and you can see the whole thing is still connected to the sky as well. By the way, whatever just happened looks like only its head slammed into the water. There's still the rest of the body still upwards in the clouds. Okay, now it's going to be Kashan.
Cool. So I can't now throw it back, so I'm going to see Llewellyn flopping on the deck, and I'm going to drop down, and I'm going to drag him inside into one of the cabins, and I'm going to shout out, very quickly, is it Keris or Andy? Which one of you has healing capabilities?
I do.
I do
Okay.
as well, technically.
So I'll just shout out, Llewellyn needs help. I'm going to put him in the cabin for safety. And I'm going to throw him. No, I'm just going to prop him up. And can I use my action to attempt stabilize him? I don't know if I can do that.
You can. It's a medicine check.
Okay, cool. I'm good at these. Oh, 16.
You managed to stabilize him. It looks like his lungs are filled with water, and you just slam him on his chest, and you see him like cough it all up, but his eyes are still closed. But he is now breathing.
Okay, and then my second attack. No. Yeah. So I'm going to run out, and I'm going to close the door to attempt to not let any water get in or anything.
Okay, gotcha.
Alright. And yeah.
Okay, at the end of your turn, now I'll make the slam attack against Irina.
Damn it.
Its huge body starts flooding towards you, and it gets close enough in range that you see the huge body just swim side to side and then knock into you. And you take... Oh my god!
Oh no!
Didn't
That's
even roll it yet, but fine.
But you know what? I can't wait for your next character.
Oh no!
I kid.
Do that again.
1d10 plus 10 plus d10.
Fuck.
Yes. Let's
What
go
the?
1d10 plus 10 plus 1d10. That's exactly right. So let me just
That's 40.
hold on. Let me just change it. It should be 20, 32 because I don't do the plus 10 on the second one. So it's 32 points of bludgeoning damage.
Wait, hang on. Wait, all that damage is me.
Yes,
Okay, calculate, please.
that is 32. This thing is just slammed into you into the water, and you feel your body going tumbling in head over heels underwater, and the whole of your wind is being knocked out of you. You see loads of bubbles exit your mouth. Feels like you've just been like hit by a what's it called? An ice freighter.
I hit you.
All right, the end of that go.
I go.
Paris.
Right, Carius, seeing this, is going to basically perform some sort of maneuver in the air, basically sort of leap, swing his glaive onto his back and dive into the water to where Irina is. He's not that high up, technically.
Okay.
Grab hold of her, and then thunder step onto the ship.
Ah, the old, yes, lifeguard.
Which will also damage it. I don't know what.
Yeah, it will do damage, won't it? Con save halves.
Why is that extra thing rolling? It roll booming blade again, so just be the 15. Should be booming blade.
It does do a con save, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
It
god.
makes it, but still half of that damage, and
No.
Irina and me are safely back on the ship.
Okay.
Hey.
All right,
Safely
you make
in
that.
quotes. Safely.
Paris
Yeah.
needs like a. He does need a lifeguard skin or something. I don't know.
That's why his coat is orange.
This is literally the second time I've been the savior multiple times with this same spell. That's the third time.
I literally just sort of sit up, point at Karis. I'm like, all right, we're even. Let's go.
Yeah, well played. Velen, you're unconscious, but you're stable. So, good turn. All right.
A wake up saving throw?
It's not like
No. Sorry, dude.
you are breathing, but you've just been crushed out of the sky. We are back to its go, and if you hadn't have got rid of that tidal wave, everyone would have made another strength save. So good job on that. However,
Thank you.
I will roll,
Oh, you're fine.
Well, not anymore, but
we'll roll a d6. Yeah, it's not recharged. So,
Wait, it's not recharged.
no, everyone is now safely back on the ship.
This is where we find out there's a hole in the boat.
That D6 to see was it Magikarp Splash did anything.
What we've actually done is we've all clumped together into one easy attack.
I'm in the air.
You're unconscious. Be quiet.
It's okay, guys.
Some ideas.
Rary's telepathic bond is still up.
I put the damsel in distress away, and I'm ready.
Save us, Kitten, save us.
Okay. So, the most peculiar thing is, after it has dove its head straight into the water, it suddenly pulls itself back up.
It literally just came down for a midnight snack and it's like, yeah.
It's exactly that.
Oh, God damn it.
It's like you imagine a whale surfacing to breathe, except this way it feels more like a giant fish
Okay.
has submerged to get water, and now it spins back up, and as it
Oh my
does,
god!
the tail end of it seems to flick out of the clouds as it pulls itself kind of up and around in a semicircle, and as it flies out, Andy, it might hit you. You're the only one in the air.
I'm sorry, but can I say I did not realise that picture was upside down, and that's fucking clever. I love that. That's
You're
great.
welcome.
It's really.
All right, Andy.
Also, this thing is terrifying. In size.
1d12.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Plus 1d12. Why don't I just make this 2d12? There we go.
How close is Andy to me?
So Andy flew up 60 foot into the air,
Ah,
and as
okay.
it uses its full movement to come out of the water again, the tail end of it is coming down and ends up whacking and slapping into Andy for 26 points of bludgeoning damage. And you're whacked flying around. I need you to make a con save as well. DC 13.
Just doing that.
This is for your concentration.
Yeah, I'm just mathing. Oh. 5. Yeah, it's gone.
Still alive.
I think I'll probably be the one underneath.
Okay,
Yeah,
Andy, you
she's no
do.
longer flying. She's falling.
Oh god, you might need to save another one. Carius blowing the whistle. Out of the pool! So, you see, the beast is rejoining the clouds, and as it does, it opens its mouth once again and pulls a great vast section of the sky into it, like it's breathing in the clouds itself. And I will end its go. It does hit the boat on the way out, all the way as well. It sort of slams it slightly, and rocks it. Nonetheless, though, everyone, you will get a turn here. So, Irina,
Andy.
Yeah. Rocked entirely. But...
Okay. I can't really do much. I literally can't do a hell of a lot to help you. Can I try to catch her?
yeah, I mean,
I'd like grab one of like maybe there's like a broken sail that I can pull out and make one of those like fire escape slides. I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. You've got a whole, volley of different spells you could try and use. I mean, even if you could, if this is a bit crazy, but you could even use your Eldritch Blast to pull them towards you and then catch you. I don't know.
Like, I mean, I can Mage Hand as a cantrip, so I'm not wasting a spell slot. Actually, hang on. How long does that take to cast? Give me a second.
It's an action, but it's not going to be enough to grab.
No,
and
not that.
Oh.
Casting time is 1 action. Okay, I'm casting Unseen Servant to help me grab the other side of this sail. So I've got one corner, the Unseen Servant has another.
Giant parachute trampoline!
We're just like...
Sure. All right.
Bouncing straight back up.
You quickly grab a hold of it, yank it out, and the sail, by the way, is probably from one of the snapped masts that you've just.
As long as the top half is like connected to something, we good.
Exactly. Yeah. You've got like one log, and then the Unseen Servant picks up the other and pulls it taut to make this blanket trampoline. And Andy, you're able to make me an acrobatics check, and I'll say with advantage as Irina is.
As a small side note, you do see Irina is now holding her skull sort of in one hand while she's holding the corner of the sail.
So that definitely does it. You manage to land on top of this thing, and you bounce up, and then bounce down again, and I think probably a third time was this Unseen Servant. It's just tossing you up and down. At this point, you don't think they're trying to catch you. They're just having a laugh with you.
Please don't try this. It's fun.
You take
Literally,
0
that's
points
what's happening.
of damage, though. You can your fall is completely broken. So, whew, that was close. You could have had a hard hit onto the deck.
Yeah, she probably would have died.
Yeah,
Just flat out died. I don't think anyone could survive that.
it would have been 60-10. So, no, sorry, it would have been like 66.
She's on 18, so.
Okay, then just as well, Irina made this quick, snap decision. It's going to end. No, that's going to end your movement, but you've still got an action, Andy. If you want to do something while you're trampolining.
Yeah, she's just gonna do a couple of flips, you know, just like, trying to enjoy the fact that she nearly just died, and she's like, okay, this isn't so bad, this isn't so bad. And then she comes down, she's like, thank you, Irina, and goes back up again.
All right.
You're welcome, but like, Llewellyn,
Oh
kinda
yeah.
important.
Oh yeah. Does a backflip and lands on the deck.
Yeah, and you can see just through the cabin, there is an unconscious Llewellyn around a pool of water.
Okay, Dr. Andy again.
It's alright. I know we would prefer if it was Rip Dip because then we want saving, you know.
Oh god, yeah, Rip.
That's a point. Where is Rip Dip?
Yeah, ripped it.
Damn it, me and my big mouth. No, guys, we want
overboard.
Ethan.
Okay, I've used up my movement for the time being. So best thing I can do then. Yeah, I'll use the healing word from the violin.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Copy it. Second level.
Ta-da!
Yeah. Yes.
All right, Llewellyn. Sounds like you're gonna get conscious.
I'd like to see Andy like literally doing the trampolining thing while she's playing the violin.
She probably could if she got a nat 20.
With a 30 in acrobatics, I feel like you probably managed it. It's just perfect, like backflip, doing the perfect position.
Just-
I got a 19, so yeah, one more.
I just wake up, just like, oh, it was all a dream.
You wish.
I almost turned a giant monster into a fish.
You didn't.
If wishes were fishes, this thing might have a full belly. So just get on your feet.
Well, I'm inside the cabin, so I can't see anything. So I'm just like, what?
You just heard Andy like shouting from the other side with a soggy violin. It is Kishan's go now.
Oh, sweet. Is it still like ascending next to the boat? Like, is body
It is,
just
yeah.
like rippling?
You can see a tail end of it sort of swinging out and whipping the air.
Okay. I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna walk to the edge of the boat. And I'm gonna pull out Cheney Dave.
Madman.
Why? Don't intimidate it. We wanted to go.
You're trying to hook onto it so it
Does
gives you a lift up.
it look like it's, or does it just look like it's going up?
The head end of it has gone back into the clouds, and all you're seeing is this worming body swooshing back and forth, sidewinding into the sky.
Okay, I kind of wanted a flavour. So,
You're not even sure if it even noticed you the entire time it did all of that.
So
Just
I kind of want to get a look beyond the clouds. So I've got plenty of lives left, so I'll go swing the chain round and I'm going to attempt to hook it onto one of its scales and just...
okay. Alright, it's going to be a roll to hit.
Oh my god.
As you quickly climb up the only remaining mast, get to the top and whip out your chain.
Natural 20.
That-
Oh my god.
And do you know what? Do you know what? I'm feeling brave. Constitution saving.
Oh god.
Dad!
You gonna try and stun it in the air?
that will make it come back down, but sure. Let's
Oh
do it.
no.
I'm just kind of curious.
Okay, no.
Oh no, I definitely made it. Okay,
You're not
so
sure if it even kills it.
oh, in fact, sorry, I shouldn't have actually rolled the damage. Could I take the damage back? Because technically, I want to grapple it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I
So
assume that's what you're doing anyway.
yeah, I'm just going to grab hold and just kind of like, just Assassin's Creed style, just like.
Yeah. You see, your body is not suddenly yanked. You feel all the muscles in your arm suddenly get taut as they are being. Your whole body weight is being pulled up by your one arm, and you're yanked with such force. You see Kishan just become like a dot immediately as he's flying up. Because at the end of your turn, I'm going to use a legendary action to again move, and it swims up and up, higher and higher into the sky until eventually it's just a dark shape behind the clouds. You, on the other hand, are getting swooshed back and forth, back and forth. That's
Slow
gonna be
mo
painful.
time.
Going to be painful if you hit onto like any of these rocks, but it seems to be swimming in between the islands. Because it is swallowing the clouds as it goes, I'll say you can roll me a quick perception check. See
Yeah,
what you
please.
do.
Kind of like, so effectively what I want to do is as soon as it gets to the clouds and I see it kind of emerge through, like effectively above everything, I want to dislodge my sickle and kick off as hard as I can and almost like slow motion free fall and just get kind of like a glance across effectively the picture what we have at the bottom there, but like bird's eye view is what I'm expecting. Perception check.
Yeah.
16.
Okay. 16, not terribly high, but and there's an explanation for it, because as you feel like you keep going higher and higher, you feel the motion shift and change. You're no longer holding on with all your might as you're going against the gravity, but instead it seems to level out and begin swimming through the cloud cover underneath the precipice of the islands themselves. And it feels like you're swimming along like the top of a cave between stalactites. And he just continues to swallow the clouds beneath the islands. It doesn't seem to actually emerge above the islands, but instead lives down here where the clouds are keeping the island aloft. And again, it opens its huge maw and begins to swallow more and more clouds, giving you just enough vision of the underside of these. And you definitely see huge draping vines underneath the rocks. There are a number of ruins as well that you can see just sticking out the underside of bits. But you're below them, so you're not able to free fall on top of them. You just see just tiny bits of masonry or crumbled masonry, perhaps.
Okay. So yeah, if I wasn't going above the islands, then I would have attempted to kick off.
Okay. As you kick off, you do feel gravity start to yank you back down because there's no clouds here. And as a result, you also start to see the island, which was was above the actual clouds, start to dip and lower slightly. A couple of vines seem to like loosen and start falling down beside you. It's not like the whole island falls, but you can see that it seems to lower slightly, like it loses, like as if a ship kind of loses some buoyancy.
Oh,
And
crap.
as it
Okay.
pushes through, the clouds seem to again coalesce and fill the gap once again, and the
Okay.
island seems to stabilize. But there's a moment of trepidation when you see a huge rock, but like a mountain coming towards you.
Yeah.
You seem to fall fast enough, but the rock just barely kind of grazes you, I guess.
I'll kind of like try and propel myself back in the direction of the ship using like the rubble just kicking off.
Yeah, sure. So as this mountain comes towards you, just kick off of it and dive bomb towards the others.
Yes.
And that. Well, Karis, you got one last go here.
Karis at this point, considering that Kashan has literally just ascended above the clouds, he says, well, he kind of stole my idea. So has a look at the ship. Right, he's gonna just basically start trying to help get the mast back up. Basically, start getting the ship back ship shape.
Ship. Gotcha. All right. Oops. And the villain.
I am going to I don't know. I kind of want to see what's going on with Kashan, and I have no idea what else to do because they're out of view now. I'm going to attempt to scry on Kashan.
All right.
To
Kashan,
to make sure he's not dead.
yeah. You can roll a wisdom save, Kashan, I guess.
If you want to oppose it.
I was gonna say, do I know who it is?
You've never.
No, not with a scry spell. The thing is, it's an invisible spell that you
Okay.
don't really know is being cast on you.
And I don't think we've had it before. So I think just for the moment, just so I'm not mattering because it's never happened, I doubt I'll succeed, but
Yeah, because whether you succeed or fail, you're not really sure whether. Okay, you fail. So you do see through Kashan's vision. Well, you create an invisible sensor that appears beside him, and you can look around from it. But you
Does
do
he
see Kashan
hear?
falling back down.
I can hear and see, but I can't speak.
You can hear. Okay, all you hear is Kashan screaming. Just,
I'll just be speaking to the people. I'll just be like, he's definitely alive and very
Thank you.
afraid.
I'll say it's only fair because now you're up here. You can also give me a perception check.
Okay. I mean, I could have just sent my raven thinking about it now, but sure. 30.
Ooh.
Okay. So, it seems like your eyes also lock on to what was up there. This piece of ruin that's sticking and jutting out of the underside of the island. And because Kashan isn't like your vision isn't like Kashan's backflipping and spinning and tumbling through the air. You create a stationary sensor that just looks up like a CCTV camera. You're able to focus in on it and concentrate your vision. It looks like there's more than just masonry up there. You start to see bronze work, metal, and perhaps more of those strange cog-like mechanisms up there. There's definitely something ancient, rusted, but it's intact.
Does it look like it could be a temple?
It looks like it's something sticking out, and it looks like it has like perhaps even like small spinning whirling things like a fan or something. I wouldn't say it looks like a temple. It looks like a strange mechanism that's fixed into a chunk of ruin or jutting out of it. You're not sure what purpose it holds, but there's definitely something up there. And judging from where you are in the actual underside of the archipelago, it could be one of the more central islands.
So I just, as I'm seeing all this, I'm speaking and I'm telling the guys,
Something I guess like this.
he's screaming, he's afraid, but he's alive, and he's doing so many acrobatic moves. Andy, you would be so proud.
I mean, can you see him?
Yeah.
Direction, please. I'm like maneuvering the sail.
Is there a direction I can
Around the
follow?
deck.
Yeah, you do see everyone at this point as I'm going to end combat there. You do see Kashan is flying through the air, claws out. It's just like
It's in that.
he looks like he's in control of his descent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that much.
I literally see it as like Tai Lung style from Kung Fu Panda, where he's escaping the prison.
Yeah.
He's, like, climbing up the rocks. That's such a cool scene.
Exactly.
I just sort of call up to him descending. Are you okay?
How high up am I?
Hundreds of feet.
How far can carry
So
a
I didn't
show?
hear that. Yeah.
You moved a total of 120 foot in one turn.
I am going to
Yeah.
kill you when you get down here.
Can't hear any of this, can it?
Yeah, the sound hits you.
How high up did you say he was? Sorry.
He only got up about 120 foot before he let loose.
Okay.
But yeah, Kashan, you descend. I'm guessing you're gonna.
I'm gonna slow fall, yeah.
Yeah.
So as I get like about where the mast point ends, I all of a sudden like slow my descent, do a forward somersault, and just land perfectly on my feet. Just go.
Alright.
That was awesome.
As he was descending, I can't spell. No, I'm kidding.
Can't
I
count
guess
the monk
with a thump on
abilities.
it.
No. No.
It literally goes on his head.
Montybot is braced on the side of the boat, like still coughing up water. He's like, "Ugh, that thing. That was a. I've only heard of in tales and stories. A sky swallower.
It was definitely swallowing the sky, so I see where it gets the name from.
But it looked like it was eating, like literally feeding off the clouds. I thought it was just sort of a nickname given to its sort of general size, that it could literally swallow the sky. But this thing was eating those clouds.
So, what is it? Is it like just a giant monster? Is it a god or?
I'm not 100% sure. I've only heard, like I said, the tales of some creature. They call it the sky swallower, but there's perhaps another name.
Scholars to the rescue. Can we?
I think I know why there's only 7 seas now. Because that thing swallowed the other 3.
Wait, there were 10?
Originally, yes. So the legends say.
I feel like Harris would know that. He's literally worshipped the god of the sea.
Yeah.
This is like, oh yeah, there were 10.
Is there
Yeah.
any checks?
On Sailor's Tale, yeah, that there was. And they also say that there was originally like 10 sons as well. You've heard about that story in the Feywild.
I mean,
10
is it
sons.
possible that one of the 10 seas actually isn't a sea of water, but a sea of air?
I'm not sure what to believe at this point.
I mean, technically the clouds are made of water, so
Yeah. Well, the weird thing about it, it seemed to be like it didn't look like one, but it kind of functioned like a whale, but in reverse. Like it was in the air, but came down for the water, like a whale breaches to come up for air.
Maybe we could ask the Sea Leaves and see if they know any information about it.
Oi, Rick Dip, explain.
I told you. Well, you can hardly hear him. He's just like. And unless you cast Rary's telepathic bond once again, you're just going to get a nattering of
I think
him.
that's still active, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
dear.
not concentration.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's within the hour that I cast it.
Okay. All right.
It's up to you whether it's been that long or not.
You said you've been casting it continually, so I'll say yes. So it says, I told you, the Sea Leaves are making everything big, way too big, dangerous big.
Well, I mean, what did they make big to become something like that? That's not like any creature I've seen.
Whale? Fish?
Whales don't fly. Normally.
I mean they can jump pretty high, so
Neither do fish fly. But there was fish in the sky.
I mean,
Well,
technically there
they
is
kind
a
of-
flying fish.
Yeah, they kind of glide.
I mean, you never know. Maybe this is something from the Feywild, perhaps. I mean, the creatures that we saw there were pretty strange. Maybe it was something that escaped.
If a pirate has heard tales, by chance may I have read something like about this?
Yeah, roll me a Arcana check.
A sky whale, a sky swallower.
Yeah, sure. I'll roll me an Arcana. Okay. Obviously the name the sailors have given it is called the Sky Swallower, but these are actually creatures. My god, though, they're nowhere near this big in what you've read about. They're supposed to be like large eels that swim through not clouds but aether. They're known as they're quite an old species. They're not really well known, and they don't really swim in schools or anything. They're usually lone hunters, but they don't normally outwardly attack ships or anything. They're quite seclusive within the clouds, but they're known as Aether School Ancients.
Aether School's Ancients.
Either
Yes.
school ninjas.
And
Yeah.
they are not supposed to be that large. This thing, by what you can tell, must be feeding off the magics in that cloud. The clouds that are somehow magically holding these islands aloft. And it must be feeding off the magic within them, the aether.
Yeah. That was.
And you've seen them; they can resemble like whale-like, more whale-like shapes. This thing looks elongated and like an eel. But I'll give you another image in the Discord because I don't want to upload anything to
From
Rod
what,
because it's being laggy.
from
So-
what I'm getting, it's a sky eel, and it's been
Something
made, and it's been made big by whatever these Ziggy leaves are doing. And it packs
Okay.
quite the punch.
Yeah, but I don't think it was actually trying to hit any of us. I think we just got in its way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just looked like it was feeding at the time. I mean, when I went up top, it was just, well, eating.
Have some more sky whales in the artwork tab.
That was much bigger than the giant bees and wasps and centipedes.
I told
you,
Siggy Lee's bad.
Well, if we take your thoughts on them feeding on the Aether, and we take the thoughts on the Siggy leaves from Rip Dip, then in theory, maybe the clouds have been overcharged with magic, and that's how they're getting bigger. But because the wasps don't go through the magic, they don't get affected as much.
Maybe.
Like it's not like we saw the wasps eating clouds.
If you suddenly think of a wasp being about this big and the size of them comparatively, it does kind of make sense that a large sea creature or sky creature might be blown up that big as well. Because a
Oh,
wasp is the size that can like fit on your fingertip, and it was big enough to like stab you through the stomach.
oh, by the way, I saw something up there. It was like some sort of runes, but made of metal coming out. Some fans.
I mean, did it look like it was part of that thing we found?
Does it look like it was part of that thing that we found?
Most definitely not. That thing was made for farming, and it was covered in
No,
like
not that thing. The other ruin, like
The
the
ring.
Ori thing.
the orrery. I'm gonna say no. It looked more. Whereas that thing was a huge disc, you expected to be part of another large structure. This was more something on the underside that was attached to the rock, and you could see like pistons and pumps, and like there was a fan of some sort. You're not sure whether it was doing something with the actual clouds themselves, but now knowing that these things eat aether, a magical source, and that not all clouds just have magic in them, there could be something infusing the clouds with magic. You're not sure.
Yeah, that might be something worth checking out, whether that's the direction of the Z leaves or not.
But you also now know the dangers of going on into those clouds.
Right.
Yeah.
Captain, whilst of course it's your choice, your ship, I'm thinking if you are going to wait, it might be better to maybe wait further away from the island, just in case.
Aye, that's the last time we're going underneath them. Not while this thing's swimming out, taking dives.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that's going to stop anytime soon unless we deal with whatever's making things big.
And I'm afraid with a ship as damaged as it is, that thing sieged our masts. We're unable to sail any further. We'll perhaps have to drift away and make repairs. But if you want to get there in time, or in good time rather, then I suggest you try and make your way up. Maybe go around one of the islands. This is as far as we can go without risking the ship, though.
Yeah.
We'll try and get a drift somewhere. If you can use the rest of that spell to maneuver us out of the underside, then you can at least find a way atop the islands without going through the clouds.
Yeah. So probably using the remnants of the sail, the remnants of my control water, and my natural ability to manipulate the winds via my storm guide ability. I'm
Yeah.
just going to try to basically direct the ship out.
Okay. So for the next 3 hours, you guys are adrift and just pushing the ship from the underside because you're mostly in the center sort of area. Eventually, you drift out far enough that you're not underneath the clouds, etc. And you can see that the crew are busy trying to repair the mast. They're getting wood. They're repairing the side of the ship from where it took a beating. It's not in good shape.
I'll get my unseen servant to help, and I'll give a hand as well.
And
Okay.
I'm going to check on Egbert to make sure he/she is okay.
Yeah, no, your egg seems to be fully intact.
Perfect. Just
All right.
took him.
I'd like to point out that my unseen servant is very, very short, so everything is carrying is quite low down to the ground. It's just like carrying boxes all the way near the ground.
Gotcha.
Chris, could you
Is it
type
the
out
shot that
what
I
it
did?
was?
Oh yes.
Sorry, say that again.
Would you be able to type out the name of that thing,
Yes.
just for note?
Yeah. So if we go back through the clouds, I recommend we go through quick.
Definitely. Well,
But
how long do we think until we're going to be underneath where we're going?
Well, the ship itself, we can't really get it there because the ship can't really control it. It's going to have to drift. So we're just going to have to use whatever means we've got between us to get up there.
I mean,
Okay.
If we want to get up there anytime soon, the ship needs to get out from under the island in case that thing comes back for another dip.
we could try and fix the boat as quick as possible.
That's based on the damage. That's not going to be a quick job.
You've got more important things to do. We can make the repairs, but it'll take some days. In the meantime, you can get on with your mission. We're just going to stay at a safe distance from this point on.
Of course, if you need us, then perhaps do you have any means of sending a message? Raven or a carrier pigeon or
I got very confused there for a moment.
Send a raven.
yeah.
Suddenly this rogue comes out from nowhere. Hi-ya! I have a message.
Cool.
If you leave your familiar here, Llewellyn, then we can always send it up. And if you need it, then you can pull it back to you.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. Can we spare an hour?
We've been 3 hours drifting, but yes.
Oh, okay. If we've been drifting for that long since the battle, I'm gonna.
But I
hit
would have
that.
been talking to Lebellin this entire time. He would not have been able to rest. Short rest, please.
You can take a short rest. Yeah.
Do you still have the cuddle buddy, Andy?
Yes.
Can I borrow that? I'm in desperate need.
You can have it back. It was yours, wasn't it?
Oh, it was hours, but thank you.
Because you
You
saw
mean
it in the artwork tab.
the plushie of Ivan.
Yeah. What? I need to find it again. What did it do?
I need to roll some hit dice, definitely.
Snuggle buddy. Where's the snuggle buddy?
In the Snuggle Beast. Yeah, is it because you saw it and reminded you in the artwork tab?
Gives me an extra 2d6. Okay.
Would you be playing your Song of Rest, Andy?
I can certainly be playing my Song of Rest.
So I'll do my 2d6. So that's
That would be
7.
useful. I can't remember how much that provides at
Yeah.
the level you're at.
Okay.
7.
Each of those creatures regains an extra 1d6 hit points.
Is it not
Oh,
high, you know, that it's at a high level?
Oh, that's where I've seen that picture. I know your game, Chris.
You should know it since the first game you ever played with me.
It's 1d8 at 9th level. We're not at 13th level yet, so yeah, it's a d8 then.
All right, go ahead and roll
Yeah.
that. And everyone gets this. Whoever spend a hit dice gets that.
So
Yeah, I spent 3 and managed to roll off the same on all of them.
All right, everyone heals for another 6. Whoever spent
Oh,
hit
sweet.
dice.
1, 2,
That's
3, 5, 6.
That'll put me up to 12.
I don't know why I didn't decide to spend my cleric hit dice first, because they're more valuable, but...
Everyone took a hit that fight, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, got all of you. Aha.
Mostly me. I think the only reason you hit me is I literally just sort of stood in the way for it. Stop!
You shall not.
But at least I got a couple of hits in, if only by accident. One of them a reflex, literally like, like, whoa.
Yay, I'm back up.
So, after a short rest, we're flying up, just straight up.
Yeah. How are you gonna get up there?
It's going to take a couple of trips for me to fly everyone up there. But I can.
Yeah.
I cannot fly now, so
Yeah, I have no means of flight.
Well, and you got any more polymorphs in you, or am I flying everyone?
Yeah, I can do. And just.
Or you could cast fly to get yourself up there, because I think you've also got the strength to carry someone.
Right, I'm full now. I used quite a lot of hit dice. That was really low. Oh my god.
Alright, I'll fly Andy up first as
Okay.
Yeah,
next.
I'm,
Well, yep. So you can fly up on the glaive with me.
yeah, I'm like I'm really low on spells soon.
Yeah, I'll just come back and fly everyone up one at a time.
That's alright,
Okay.
it just means that when we meet the Siggy leaves, there's just one person who's not going to be... Fireball!
I mean, I can.
One less fire. Good shout.
I'll grab Egbert as well.
Of course.
So I
Alright.
have to make 4 trips.
It's a bit of a chore, but eventually you fly everyone up one by one. And you're looking for a good place to perhaps land, and everything up here looks completely and utterly like overgrown. It's just like a whole jungle out there. But as you're looking for somewhere that's perhaps clear enough, you do find a small, I guess, few like square shapes in the distance. They stick out from amongst the wild of the jungle. And as you're approaching, you realize that they were actually either broken walls or roads through the jungle. The only part that doesn't seem to be completely and utterly overgrown. And swooping down one by one, each of you kind of land down in this sort of clearing, I guess. Looking around you, everything else is thick, dense jungle, and you're looking for specifically one type of island. You're looking for the Skyrite Shelf, and as you're looking around, you don't see one island that's higher than the other. You're pretty much almost as high as you can get. There are definitely rocky looking terrain around you. Perhaps you're already on it. You're not quite sure. It definitely seems like this is the only clear part. It's the only part that looks like a shelf compared to the rest of the overgrown jungle. Alright. So, I'll just change the map.
One of you needs to get an item to fly other than me.
I mean, how high up is it? Is it like obviously it's more than I can travel, but
I think it's against my nature to fly.
Yeah, you're more the falling type.
Exactly. However, I strangely get stuck up in places, so
Like trees.
it's a terrible cycle.
And he's just got this face that she's like, don't make a cat pun, don't make a cat pun.
he just takes a look at Andy's face. It's like, I know what you're thinking, and that face is. I know that face.
I mean, that's probably something that you and Irina have in common. You're both quite in touch with the fire brigade.
Oh, right. Yeah, they know your face as well. They're like, oh, you again.
But of course, Irina's never burnt anything down.
Yet.
Yeah, just half a library, but
We don't talk about that. But that's none of my business.
I mean, the librarians still talk about it, but
Perfect, so we land at the top.
Yeah, you've gone as high as you can get, really. There are still sections of mountain and rocky, what are they called? Mazes? But
Yeah.
they don't look like they had anything on them when you were coming down towards this area. But
I'll just poke Rip Dip and say, here, good.
he looks around. This road must lead somewhere.
Does it look familiar?
I feel we are somewhere, perhaps on shelf. Not sure.
Oh, we made it to the shelf.
We
Okay,
might be on shelf, yes.
perfect. So, yeah, we land.
Kind of like start kicking a bit of the cobblestone and looking around.
Stop.
He looks back the other way as well. And the road behind him seems to stretch on as well. And he looks into the distance and he just says, more old rock that way. This way, the city lives. And as he's kind of pointing out old rocks, you do see some sort of pyramid type shape in the distance that sticks out amongst the jungles. A large triangle of rock. You can see several stone steps, several of them, and most of them is crumbled away. But in that distance, it does look like there are more ruins.
Okay.
Any idea what any of those ruins are, Rip Dip, back there? Old stones, as you call them.
He says, kind of shrugs and goes, people must have lived here. Not anymore. Not since Siggy leaves make danger.
So this is before the break between your people?
Huh?
That is a long time ago, so I understand.
Oslo tribe and Siggy leave always been.
Yes, I forgot about this. So I'll just start walking forward and just kind of like looking at the walls, the roads, the ruins, any kind of like markings or anything that kind of draws my eye.
Yeah, okay. Roll me an investigation check. As you're looking over several of the actual ruins themselves.
Hey
dip kind
guys,
of
I'm
beside you.
looking. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, he's just skipping alongside you.
Okay. Before I do, I'm just going to turn to the rest of the group and say, there must be something here from the previous tribes. Would anybody be able to help me look for anything, symbols, carvings, anything of the sorts?
We could do
I mean,
that.
I can try.
Yeah.
No promises.
Perfect songwriting assistant.
Yeah.
I think pretty much everyone's helping you with this, so.
Yeah.
Awesome. Natural 20. It's a 19, but it's a natural 20.
Natural 19.
Okay, yeah. So these obviously definitely man-made, but they don't look like they've been handmade. They have very clean cut edges, as if something has sheared the rock away and shaped it into a very square shape. Most ruins you've seen, they're kind of old, crumbled, but they were definitely made by hand and like chipped and shaped that way. These look too flat. They look too pristine, even though they must be very, very old. They've kept this very clean shape to them, which signifies some sort of maybe machinery has chopped them, or maybe even magic has shaped it to be a perfect sort of rectangular block. And it seems like that is potentially why these are even still intact. Most of the jungle is overgrown, and you can see several vines kind of wrapping up and around them. Nature hasn't completely destroyed the signs of civilization here. What you can tell is this would have perhaps been either a watchtower or maybe an archway that would have led to somewhere. It's fallen away now, but there's definitely a sure sign that this was some sort of wall or barrier that would have been at the start of some sort of road or city, perhaps. So you can definitely identify the purpose of these. These are kind of like walls that would have led into a city.
Yeah.
What else? Okay. With a natural 20 then. You can see that Andy is carefully balancing along one of these walls. They're actually quite high up, and as they're tiptoeing along it, you can see that there is to be some sort of mosaic or mural up top on the actual side of the wall that Andy is crossing.
Okay. I'll go and check that out.
The paints and the color have all been since washed out and faded, and it looks like it's been also sun bleached. You know, when something is just faded and it kind of goes that slightly off yellow color.
Yeah.
Seems to have happened here as well. But it does seem
We
to.
have been be cursed by working on this.
Or you're totally cursed.
I don't think this would be the place that would hold any kind of curses, so I think you are all fine. However, just be careful. I wouldn't want you to fall.
All right. As you start looking over this mosaic or ancient mural, you start to see signs of, I guess, a storyline, or perhaps like a depiction of what this place represents, or how it came to be built. But before I get into the very nitty-gritty details of it, we'll quickly go for a 5-minute break, as it is bang on 9. 10,
Okay.
9, 9. So yeah, we'll be right back. We'll see what this mural uncovers, and we'll see if Llewellyn ever falls over from going around in circles and getting very... But Rip Dips doesn't stop. He kept on walking. He's like, but when he gets across this line here of shadow, he's like, too bright, and he pulls back away from the sun. But that is where we will take a quick break. So we'll see you soon. Alright, welcome back. Okay. Kashan has just uncovered a strange mural on this section of wall that hasn't yet crumbled to the ages and to the ravages of nature. It is heavily sun-bleached, the colour has been washed away, but you can still make out the engraving, and even though it's kind of this off-yellowy colour, you can make out some some depictions. And it definitely shows a tall, slender-looking race of people. They obviously have pointed ears. They're most definitely of elf origin, and they are seen in amongst a forest, a great forest. It seems like the trees are depicted as rising up above them again and again, and each kind of section of the mural seems to suggest that these trees grew and grew. And then on the other side of the mural, there is a small race individuals. They are like but half the size of the elves on the other side, and there is, or looks to be on one side, the sun above the elves. It's growing these trees, and on the other side is the moon, and you can tell that there's something falling from the moon, like small little, maybe shooting stars or sort. There's like these tiny lines that are drawn from it. At first you think it's like a depiction of the sun with its rays like shining out, but it seems to be they're all kind of like pointing in the same direction. It's coming down towards this kind of section in the middle that's depicted as perhaps like the island or the earth, and they shower down onto the actual ground. And the next frame of, or the next part of the mural, as they start to meet in the middle, is the smaller of the races uncovering these rocks that have fallen, and you see several tools in their hands, hammers, pickaxes, and they seem to be hoisting these rocks away and then making things from them, experimenting and creating inventions. And so you're kind of reading from the left and reading from the right, and then coming together in the middle and meeting the organic nature of the trees and this strange fallen rock that they've turned into all kinds of inventions. And as you look at it, it's hard to tell with the color all gone, but there seems to be some, I guess, slight shine or sheen to the actual rocks that they're handling. It may have looked like they've used a shiny kind of silvery paint, but it's long since faded. But in the middle is a great sort of pyramid-like structure where both races are seen kind of coming together. They seem like they're offering each other gifts. One of the bounty of the forest, the other the ingenuity of the smaller race. And they came together, and it seems like they created, like a section in the middle, a monument to the unity of their tribes. But there's no depiction of them warring or anything. It just looks like it's kind of depicting two ways of life coming together and meeting in the middle. But there is something new on that you didn't realize before. And these like fallen rocks from the moon.
Okay.
That's what you uncover with a natural 20.
So I'm going to point to like the falling rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say to Rip Dip, have you seen these?
He looks across and kind of rubs his eyes as he's still kind of a bit blinded by that light of the sun. He's like, too bright. Seen what?
I point to the rocks.
Kind of peers over and squints. He looks at it and cocks his head and goes, what those look like? Look like rocks. He just scratches his head. He's not too sure.
Have you seen rocks falling from the moon?
No, we see moon. Moon not fall. Moon stay high and shine bright in night sky. But moon not fall, no.
So what, when you go to the temple, does it look like this? And I'll point to the pyramid.
He nods. Yes.
By any chance, when you go there, do you take your rusties?
Take your what, sorry?
Rusties.
Rusties. The rusties. No, we don't take rusties there. We take rusties from there. We found rusties in temple. Bring them back home.
I think the rusties are actually from your ancestors. They didn't used to be rusties.
No?
They might have been tools for something bigger. You see, he kind of like stands back and looks at the mural, and effectively what it looks like is on the left you have the elven tribe with like trees and just all the nature side with the just bio.
Yeah.
And then on the right hand side you have the like mechanical side, but you have both of the tribes coming together in the center with this pyramid is effectively what I see.
That's right.
And with the sun on the left hand side and the moon on the right.
Yeah.
And I turn to Riptip. This
And
over
the sun's rays are kind of rushing down and invigorating the forest. And on the right side is these lines coming down. Instead of rays, they're tiny little rocks, and they seem to be what spurred the ingenuity of the other tribe.
Okay.
So it's like these lines coming together.
Yeah. And I say this is what makes up your people. For both sides of the tribes. These are your ancestors.
What is Annie says who?
This is your dad's dad's dad.
Ripped it not kinda high.
They're your elders.
Your tribe. They're ancient ones from your tribe that are no longer still alive. They're like the elders before Jackrath was the elder, before even the elder before him, sort of thing.
The ones the Siggy leaves must have killed.
No.
He shakes his spear.
Or they
No.
just died from being alive too long. It happens.
This place was meant to be filled with peace. You can see here. I turn to the rest of the group. This is what Ladorvu's writings were saying. The two tribes coming together. I
Alright.
need to go here. And he points to the pyramid. After
I have a
we've
question
spoken.
though. Okay, it depicts both sides of the tribe, right? But who made the mural?
Well, I assume both of them live together here in harmony. I mean, take a look for yourself. The stones that you are stood on are way too perfectly carved to be just mere chisels. This is a place where, and I assume the vegetation here is gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more lush than what you've ever seen it. And you can feel a heat up here as well. That several of the rocks you're standing on are cooled, but you reckon as Rip Dip stood out there, he was kind of getting burnt alive.
God.
But what interests me is I want to know whether it's the Siggy Leaves or the Borzu tribe, or who they're ones that made the mural. Which side of them depicted this story?
Well, once again, I think they both did. They both worked together on this because they both built this place together.
Does it look like more than one artist has worked on this? Because you can tell when that happens.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there are different art styles, but also there are different perhaps paints used, and it looks like
Okay.
one side seems to be focused more on detail and realism, and the other one seems to be much more artistic, and there's a flair to it. The trees look like they're really abundant and growing out. They spiral and have much more of an artistic sort of flair to them. The other one seems to be much more accurate depiction, and you can tell intricate details of the mechanics and the tools that they were using.
My brain just sort of is like Art Nouveau versus cave drawings.
Yeah.
They both look sophisticated in their own
Yeah.
right. One's like hyper-realism, the other one is very artistic, like styled.
So,
So
are we still intent
It's
on
not
going?
elven work.
Are we still intent on going to the Ziggy Leaves, or are we going to the possible temple?
I need to go to the Siggy Leaves
Well, I mean-
beforehand. The last thing that I want to do is to step on valuable
you want
land for
permission
two.
first.
Exactly.
Permission.
I need to find out both sides of the story before I step on sacred land that could either win our favor or lose our favor with either side. But obviously the ultimate goal out of all of this is to find out exactly what happened and, well, bring them together once again.
As you say about stepping on sacred land, you see Rip just like, hot, hot, hot. He gets quickly back into the shade once again.
Riptip, the more that you stand on it, the more that you are going to hurt. It's fine, we can carry you.
Yes. Where's this slave? There she is. Wait,
Riptip,
you-
what we've told you about the
Wait.
S word.
honorary hunter.
Exactly. I don't think Elder would like you calling us slaves, especially when he gave us a title now, would he?
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Come here. Still get piggyback.
No,
You piggyback.
no.
No,
You piggyback.
not with my cloak.
That's not a no. He jumps up on top of Irina's back.
Why set myself on fire?
Oh god.
No. Okay, and I'll stop.
If it keeps him quiet.
Jesus
then-
Christ, Riptip just pulls out a motorbike.
Yeah, if he does that, then I'm flinging him. I'm
Grab
going
the
to
whole-
step away and just leave him in the like air.
Oh no.
It's fine.
So,
If
yeah.
he keeps him quiet, then I'll carry him.
Okay, alright. He does a few brooms, but then you give him a death stare that you just cannot stop.
A few brooms.
Yeah, he does a few. Yeah, as everyone steps out behind this huge mesa, you do feel the blistering hot sun bearing down on your faces. The heat washes through your skins, and you're even feeling the heat underneath your soles. I don't know who's wearing sandals or stuff, but
Oh, sorry,
guess
I thought you
Krishan.
meant like deep inside.
yeah,
On a spiritual level.
soles of your
Feels
feet.
like home. Almost.
Does.
I mean, I feel fine.
Yeah, three of us are enjoying it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull my hood up for probably one of the first times, just so I don't get like sun
yeah.
all over.
He
The
just
white-
instantly crisps up.
He literally starts to look like Malone.
Definitely the white of the cloak actually helps reflect the heat.
I just
Even
do a double take. I'm like, huh? He started to actually look like my mentor,
Ooh, what is
old
this?
withered elf.
Kashan starts walking ahead in like awe.
Do I look as old as my dad now?
I mean, your dad definitely looks older, but that's all the grey hair.
Kishan, you're wearing sandals, right? No? Are you barefoot?
No, I'm pretty sure he's barefoot.
Okay, this stonework is scorching your feet.
It's okay. He's with his feline agility. He's just kind of like, it's like tippy tappy.
Alright.
I might try and fashion some form of shoes, unless anybody has spare shoes.
Carius just sort of drifts across his glaive and just like sit on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that would be perfect actually. Yeah, I'll kind of like just ice saddle the glaive if it's too hot.
I never got boots.
That definitely works as you kind of glide along. There is a bit of a breeze up here, but it doesn't seem to let the... In fact, it's deceiving because obviously the sun is beating down, but the wind kind of cools your face a little bit. But you realize if you stayed out here long enough, probably going to get sunburnt. Although I think Andy will be alright. Maybe Irina, you're used to the heat, but not like being...
I can still get sunburn.
Yeah.
Tabaxi
You
gets
you feel Candleweed kind of thrumming with heat, almost like Candleweed kind of bathing in it.
Not fur burnt, but I imagine it would probably turn a lighter colour.
Yeah, like some bleach your fur.
You go from
Become a
grey
what?
to white.
You just probably end up very dehydrated.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Carius is just like, yeah.
The sun,
Okay.
the heat. Now we just need sand.
I sort of look at the ground and just like, I really wish I'd learnt that mold earth spell.
As you're going along and feeling the heat of this weather, I'd like everyone to roll me a nature check.
And nature.
Or survival. Or survival, either one actually. But it's mostly nature.
Okay.
But it could be survival as well.
I'll stick with survival, thank you.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm good at. I'll go for nature.
Damn it.
There's a couple of good draws there. I think for Karis, it definitely makes a lot of sense here. Lavellin, you're probably thinking more logically. You're talking about how this feels exactly like home, Karis. This is the kind of weather you're used to back on the coast, back in the Claude coast. It's almost exactly the same kind of weather. In fact, you're not sure how close you are. You know you crossed a huge portion of the sea, but you're not sure exactly where you are. But it definitely feels like the same sort of weather. And guessing that these are moving islands floating floating across the ocean. It's possible that you could have drifted into that section. Lavellin, you're probably thinking more mathematically where you are along the equator, and it is possible that the islands do float from climate to climate, and if it does move around, that would drastically change the environment here. And whilst going across the equator where it's going to be hottest, you can imagine that trees are going to be thriving with this much sunlight, especially if the elves have kind of channeled it to even empower it further through magical means.
Probably
This is
wouldn't help.
Yeah, you could be across the equator right now. That's what you're thinking.
Probably wouldn't help being so high up in the sky as well.
That is the other part. Being above cloud cover means that there is no protection. You are literally just blisteringly hot under the sun lens.
So we're probably not quite as far over as the Claude coast, but due to the height, that sort of helps basically get it to a similar temperature.
For sure. And it just kind of occurs to you like, you're wondering what happens to the environment when it crosses over a different section. What changes happen? Because if it does fly across the equator, then, well, this would look vastly different depending on where it is. But nonetheless, you keep pushing on. You come up to eventually a log bridge. Several of the planks have kind of come loose, and you see a rushing river that's going through, probably one ending in one of the waterfalls that fly off the edge of the island. And you see Rip Dip kind of get excited. He dips his feet in the water and he's like, much better.
I would actually like to go over and just fill up my water skins and just kind of like splash some water over me. And
Yeah, probably a good idea as well.
I'm simply going to place my hand in the water and just sort of try to feel that connection to the sea, like religious-wise. Because all rivers should flow to the sea, but this is in the sky, so who knows?
I mean, if
It might turn into cloud before it hits the water.
I was going to say, if you feel the water from up here with the river that goes over the waterfall, you probably hear the same scream that Lavellin heard from Kashan coming from the water.
What?
You're trying to sense the water. It's screaming as it's going off the edge.
Yeah. Oh, that makes... Yeah, my water skin's full of seawater, but that's...
Rip Dip suddenly kind of wades a little bit into it. He's like, fishy, fish, lot of fishing.
Just
And he starts like jabbing his spear into the water.
be careful, Rip Dip. Don't lose your footing.
Yeah, as you cross the bridge, and it definitely seems sturdy enough to actually make it away. And the braiding on the rope definitely seems to be different from like Weep's kind of ropes, for sure. Everyone's spent enough time in Weep, sort of, to know how they tie ropes and such. The way these have been tied are much more kind of elegant and not, I'll say. Definitely kind of perhaps elven design.
This place is
Is there any
incredible.
other, like markings here?
Sorry?
Is there any other like markings on the broken wall up here?
Ah, okay. Yes, except roll me an investigation check.
I'll give you a hand with this.
Okie dokie. I'm guessing advantage then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. 10.
Nice.
Okay. You're unable to see what's beneath the other painting. I'll get onto that in a minute. It does look like there was once another piece of mural, or perhaps some art depicting an old ancient time. However, it's covered up by something, and it looks fresh in a way. There are fresh paints, kind of like plastered across, but not in vandalism, but not in like graffiti. But it seems like someone has deliberately tried to change the mural to be better suited to something else. So what the original one was, you can't tell, but the new one seems to show a forest that is perfectly in line with each other. All the trees from before, they were all kind of like elegant looking and vastly different and lush. There was artistic flair to them all. Whereas looking at these, they all look completely similar. Like every tree is like copy pasted across the entire mural, and all of them are exactly the same height. And beneath each tree, there seems to be a outline of a humanoid-like shape. And they seem to be all kind of holding hands along these line of trees, perfectly evenly spaced.
So it's almost like a protection of the trees? And do they all look... So, do they seem to be depicted in different shapes and sizes, or do they all look fairly
They are
uniform?
all the same size and exactly the same shape.
Do you think these are telling a story, maybe? As we go through, if we find more?
I have a feeling that this is going to be a similar standpoint to where Ribdip's tribe is coming from.
Fish!
Fish!
I think this might be the elves' way of, well, showing that they are standing for the protection of their forest, where I can assume when we get there, their argument is going to be that potentially the... God damn it, I can't remember the name of...
Borzo.
Borzo, thank you. The Borzo tribe is maybe tearing down trees or trying to get rid of any of the vegetation because they've gone a bit more primitive than their ancestors. The same way that the Borzo tribe think that the Sigi leaves are causing everything to grow rapidly, but it's because there's no balance. They have no way to maintain it without the tools that the Borzo tribe give.
So you almost need... You know, like you have a weighing scale and you have two sides, but then you have the middle. You almost need the middle. The
Exactly.
thing that helps balancing it.
But that's the thing that I'm trying to work out, because Ladorvu mentions that language brought these people together. But it's the language that I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if that's going to be somewhat of a euphemism for something, or if it is literally a sacred language that they know deep in time, but I think that's
Language
what
could
I'm...
be Many things.
Exactly. I think that's what I'm going to find at the pyramid. Is some form of ancient text, you know.
I will laugh if this is all just a misunderstanding.
I
I
will bloody laugh.
can probably guarantee it's most likely a misunderstanding.
That's where my favorite spoon.
Funny you mentioned ancient text. I should have mentioned in hindsight, but when you were looking at the section in the middle where the pyramid was, you can see that obviously the smaller race was holding tools made from the strange rock, and I guess in the hands of the elves they were holding these bountiful harvest of perhaps fruit and vegetables, but there were figures perhaps in the background that were holding what looked to be perhaps like scrolls.
So it's almost like the scribes of the two tribes.
Yes,
The
and they were
transcribes.
sort of centered in the background, near the base of the pyramid.
Okay.
That would have been something that caught your eye. Is the-
Perhaps priests then? Like,
I think they were more like what Krishan says, more like scribes. They look like they were documenting this fateful event going on. But nonetheless, Riptid does finish his fishing, and he just eating it raw by the side. Has his hands are like holding it. You see the forearms turn a scaly sort of texture, like he's transformed slightly into a fish.
What is he, Gollum? Fish form?
I wouldn't ask.
the scribe-like figures, were they also of various heights in the first picture, or were they?
They were various heights. Yep. And
Yeah.
everything was varied. Even the elf tribe did seem to have some taller, some more fairer than others. In this depiction, the one that's been painted over the mural here seems like they're all the same size, all the same shape. And it's fresh paint. You can tell there's a very dark green color to the paint. It's not sun bleached like the others.
Whilst I agree with the whole idea, like they're in protection, maybe, I do find the fact that they've made everything the same height seems weird. It almost seems like some sort of they want control, or they're trying to depict control.
Well, that's another thing that I don't understand, because this was a place where anybody and everybody can live in harmony. This is a place of unity. This is where anybody can come together and live. But something has gotten in the way. Something has turned these groups selfish, effectively. Maybe protective over what they own. I mean, the Bozo tribe was very guarded when it came down to their rusties. And I assume that's going to be a similar case when it comes down to the Siggy leaves. But I think we'll be able to communicate a little bit better with them, just due to the nature of language.
Yes. Well, let's hope they're not as tricksy as.
Of course, we can always hope. So Riptip, how far is it to the Siggy leaves?
We should be close, except dangers. Guardians.
Guardians?
He looks around. Yeah, he seems to be drawing his spear, like cleaning it of the fish, and looking around carefully. He says, "We be quiet. Be careful."
Okay, but if it's one of them, we need to make ourselves known. We aren't here to sneak up on
No.
them.
Not Siggy leaves.
Okay.
Smash. big monster. Yes.
Okay, yes, that doesn't sound good. Maybe we should hide from that. Yeah, so I'll follow Rip Dip's lead.
Okay. Let's do that then. Drag this to the back. Whoop. To the back. To the back. Boom. Okay, yeah, that worked. Alright, let's drag it back down. Whoop. Alright, continuing on higher and higher, you get there are more raised plateaus, and it's definitely looking a bit more rocky and craggy up ahead. Again, atop these plateaus, completely overgrown. Wherever there is space, these trees are sprouting up. They're massive, and they're definitely more exotic looking. They're less like a forest. They're more like a jungle.
I'm curious. Considering, of course, Carius and everyone had kind of suggested that this place, of course, moves and potentially travels over the top of a lot of different places. Does that mean that there's possibly foliage from all sorts of different lands?
Yeah, you can roll me a survival check and check if there is signs of other foliage.
Do you mean
Or
like...
even a nature.
I'm curious. It's so like there's like some plants that you would see in the desert, then some plants you might see just in a forest or something like that, and they would like thrive at different climates.
An oak doesn't live next to
Okay,
a palm
that's-
tree.
This is actually the perfect.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's also perhaps perfect place to check for such a thing, because as you approach this edge, you realize there is a huge crevasse in the middle, and through it you can see layers of different sediments, which would definitely be a good sign as to what kind of environment this used to be in. And I'll say with a survival check that high, you do see certain layers that depict a different climate entirely in this place. Now, I'm not too up on geology and geography, but I will just tell you in layman's terms effectively what you discover with the 23. And that is that this place used to be in a much more stable climate. You can tell all the way up the rock it's the same sort of environment, and perhaps the top layers in mostly about the probably, let's say, like the last 100 years or so, the climate has vastly changed, and you can tell that in the soil from just looking at the side of this, and it has gone into a much more tropical environment. But all the way down, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, it's all the same. It must have been a much more, I guess, cooler climate, where there would just be like a kind of simple forest, but not like this overgrown, rampant jungle that it is now. Only in the last 100 years or so has this place undergone this overgrowing transformation.
Say, Rick,
What?
how long has your feud been going on for?
Generation. Long time.
How many generation?
Many generation.
So,
Long. 'How long indeed? 1 second.
Because I'm just curious if there's like a correlation between when this place may have started moving and their feud.
Yeah, that's a good question.
How many chiefs have there been?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have grossly underestimated it with 100 years. So more like hundreds of years, going back at least over 500, probably more. But beyond that, it's all the same. So for like centuries, it was the same, and then only in the recent, only in the recent millennia has it been this tropical. So it basically gives you the idea that this place wasn't always moving. It was in one place at one time, and now it's changed somehow. Regardless, you see Rip Dib's like trying to count his elders, like wang ho, at least 2.
Okay.
Including the one now, so 3.
Okay. Okay.
And they're like, the boars are meant to be like gnomes, right? And they live ages.
That's why I was like, oh god, I may have underestimated at the first. Yeah, it's a long time.
Okay, so just from that, can she almost make the kind of, there seems to be something that lines up there in her head, sort of thing. That's
Yeah, there's definitely something that does line up. Like a couple of generations of gnomes would definitely have forgotten what happened, but
okay.
something changed, and it does sound like that does match up with, like you were saying, the 600 odd years of recent climate change. And there are a lot more changes in this sediment as if it is floating around in the last 600 years. But beyond that, it was stable. And you're trying to date back just how far it goes by leaning closer and closer into the huge crevasse and trying to make out.
Slowly leaning over.
Leaning and leaning. And
Just grab the back of her cloak.
Yeah.
yeah, about that. Wow. Okay, cool.
What did I do?
Nothing? You didn't do anything? This is just a perfect opportunity to do stuff. Okay.
Out everyone's
How do you-
inches.
You see Andy sort of dangling out, and whoever grabs was it Carius? You said grabbing hold of him.
No, Irina. But
Irina,
Carius
sorry.
would probably have been about to when he's Irina again.
I'd have been like,
I'm-
careful,
Yeah,
careful, careful.
Rip is walking by the edge, and you see as Andy's getting dangerously close, you do see a couple of pebbles or bits of the edge crumble away and fall down into the crevasse, and you hear it echoing more and more distant into the beyond. Irina, you do grab a hold of Andy before she slips or anything dangerous, but you do realize you'll need to cross over the other side somehow.
How far is it?
Flying glaive.
You can measure it out. It's like about 30 foot.
30
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah, about a 30-foot gap.
Oh, okay. That's easy.
It is.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
Carius
it's-
can literally fly to the other side and put a rope there, and you can climb across.
Absolutely. It's not a challenge for a mighty 17th level party such as ourselves. But
We're 17th
like
level
the
now.
way
When
you
did
said
we?
that.
Oh wow, level up? What?
When did we
You
level
heard
up
that?
5 levels?
sure.
I'm suspicious now.
Yeah, tell me
Yeah.
about it. What was the 20 for?
A 20. What 20?
Does it look like there's any way across this?
Yeah. Jumping. Do you mean was there a way across?
Well, yeah.
Okay. It looks to you like the Earth has indeed split. Probably as a result, I'm going to go with Andy's like survival as a kind of base. You can always estimate that this thing moving across different climates would cool and heat up rock, eventually cracking and splitting it. Not to mention floating islands. This could be where two islands have butted up against each other, or even smashed into one another and caused a fissure to open up.
Hey, just like our geography.
Carius is just going to fly across, but just see if anything happens because he's the safest to do so.
Carius, you hover across the dark, deep crevasse, and you see into the bottom of it, there is another small river that winds through, and vines and trees are sticking out the side, overgrowing and making this tangle of knotted branches and trees.
Well, nobody attacked me, so who's next?
I mean, I can literally jump across it, so I'll be fine. I have step of the wind and climbing speed, so if I don't make it to the other side, I'll be able to just climb up.
I'll just order the glaive to fly back and pick them up one at a time.
Oh,
So,
okay. We'll do it.
I can Misty Step, but that's a waste of a spell slot.
yeah.
Can I try something just on the spot? I'm not going over the crevasse.
Mhm.
If I take out my book and it starts to hover above me, and I hold on to it, is it able to hover me as well?
God no, it can't lift you.
Yeah, it was worth a try. They were mighty wings from a
They
giant.
were. It can only lift as much as like a mage hand would.
You
Okay,
put
okay.
on weight since you got it.
Mhm.
I was just wondering, just checking. Okay, yeah, I'll take the glaive then.
I've made
I mean,
some
you're
jumps, but
ha-
I'm not testing this.
I
you're
really want
happy
to jump
to
it as
jump
well.
across if you want to, Kashan. In fact, Karis will help across the people it seems obvious, and then just sort of look at Kashan and Andy, who are both quite jumpy and acrobatic quizzically, like.
I'm tempted.
Have you got something to save yourself if it goes bad?
I mean, I've used my fly and I've used my levitate, so I haven't
Did
really.
you get any of them back on a short rest, or is it just a long rest?
It's every day it recharges.
Yeah.
So
I
in
mean, you've
sunrise,
got
things happen.
you've got a Carius. I can probably save you if you fall.
Fuck it,
She's
let's
always
do
like-
it.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
Oh god.
This is
Do it
the
one
day.
at a time at least.
Okay.
So that way, if one of you goes, we can catch you and then worry about the other one. We don't have to worry about you both at once.
What?
Actually,
Tie-
smart idea
tie a
for
rope.
Andy at least. Yeah, tie
Tie
a
a
rope.
rope.
I'm just gonna literally. I'm pretty sure I've got some in my kit.
My brain sees this ending badly, but
Yeah.
No,
Just
I
gonna
don't.
say, like, it's
It'll be
okay. We
hilarious.
just want to have a quick flex. I didn't really get to do much in that fight anyway, so
Stretching and
yeah.
okay.
Right.
It's like a
Going
I'm
walk.
gonna, I'm gonna look over here for something sturdy to tie a rope around and then throw the other half back to them. They
No
can
one
tie
gets
it to
to-
themselves.
Trees.
Channel bar.
I'm just going to double check. No, it hasn't messed the cameras. Good.
Okay. Yeah, there's plenty of trees and logs and stuff. So Carius and Belen, you're on the other side.
I think Irina would be as well.
Mhm.
Out of and
Okay.
ripped it because literally on my first flight, I'm just gonna grab it by like the scruff of his collar and carry him
Grab
across.
it, no problem. Irina, you make it across as well. Alright, 1 second.
Do it. Do
Oh
it.
my god. Okay. Alright. Who's up next?
he rolled a d4. I'm suspicious.
Yeah, no, tell me about it. But we gotta go through with this plan now. It's canon.
Right. 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 Who's going first?
Rock, paper, scissors.
I guess. How
Why
are
do
we
I
gonna...
feel like? Why do I feel like we should have our own version
Rock,
of the game?
paper, scissors.
I delayed.
That was so good.
On the
Let's look
camera,
at
it
it.
literally looked like
Okay.
it flipped him off. I'm just like,
Okay, D20, D20, D20.
It's ready.
I'm
There we go.
gonna ready a
Oh,
cantrip.
that was really close.
You're going first.
Alright, I'll go first. So,
Kashan,
yeah.
as you're jumping across or trying to make your way across,
Yeah.
you suddenly hear something movement. You hear a strange kind of hissing noise suddenly.
run, it's Godzilla.
Boy. Where? Where's it
Down
coming?
below the crevice.
Did I hear it as well?
Send the glaive, send the glaive, send the glaive!
Before you even have a chance, to react, there's suddenly huge elongated neck suddenly serpentines its way out of the crevice and begins snapping at various people. It was incredibly well hidden. It was like disguised as vines and trees, and underneath the shadows. None of you even see it coming because it rolled a natural 20 and does have a surprise round. Everyone can roll initiative.
I do have to go to bed in a couple of minutes, so.
Oh my god, you do.
Would I
Okay.
have got a can? You said I heard it. I heard a hiss.
You definitely heard it hiss, but you are still surprised from its emergence.
Fuck.
As I was saying, I was gonna ready a cantrip. Okay.
I know, but it does have an awfully high stealth there.
Does it actually have high stealth on top of a natural 20?
Yeah, on top of that, it has extra. I know your passive perception is 21,
Damn
but
it!
nonetheless, you hear this
About
constant breathing and hissing, and then its snapping of its head comes out. As you prepare to like fire your cantrip at one, you suddenly see another emerge, and it rises up to where Andy is, and then another emerges and rises up to where Irina is, and one by one you see a whole knot of heads and snakes appear.
Oh, fuck.
I can't
Oh,
really get you.
what the fuck
Oh
is
no,
that?
not this guy.
Oh no, another
This
Hydra.
guy. And you're suddenly getting flashbacks to the heart level, and as you remember, quite an exotic type of Hydra kept by Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
A hooded Hydra. Well, this might be one of its descendants.
Fuck. Oh,
'cause this,
God, yeah. Oh, fuck.
this is a Viper Hydra.
A Vidra.
Yeah. Viper? Yeah, whatever.
History.
Oh my god, it's still hissing in the background. Okay.
Well, crap.
Yeah, and I know it's probably a bit too late to jump into this, but I'll have it surprise round at the very least.
Can we have the first round?
I
Well, the first round is the surprise round.
So,
Alright.
sorry, but
First
No.
weekend back at work, she's gonna be
It's
Yeah.
alright, I've got
Yeah.
work tomorrow as well.
Okay.
That's cool.
In that case, and I will just do its round of attacks and then call it a night because it has got enough for 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, all of you.
What?
Cool. Because it's got 5 heads.
It's got one for each head. Oh my god.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't have my reaction ability. But then again, you can't get reaction on the surprise round anyway. So.
You do, but you do after your turn has been had.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So you do actually have a reaction, all of you, because it seems like the hissing does give you the chance to be perhaps ready a reaction, but other than that, it's still going to get its first set of attacks with advantage, because it was super well hidden, like a snake would be. Like it just waits for its prey. And okay, where the hell is my Hydra?
Just a flat roll for me then.
Okay.
Placement.
Gotcha. Yeah, just a flat roll for you. All right, so we'll go down in initiative order. So I'm going to go for Irina first.
Will we say as a reaction I could get my shield out? Otherwise it's gonna really hurt.
Your shield would, if you're attuned to it, you'd effectively have it equipped, I'd assume, wouldn't it?
You,
I just want to clarify because obviously shields.
yeah, sure. You've got your shield equipped and attuned, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, so my AC would be with the shield, right?
Yeah. So what is
Okay,
what is?
that's fine then. That's fine.
Okay. So I think it still hits though with a 23.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not seeing anything.
Did it not come up?
No, I think a GM rolling.
No, it's not GM rolling. Okay, well the second one is a 21 on Llewellyn. You're not seeing that?
Nope.
No.
That's bizarre. Because it's not DM roll.
We can't see it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's not true. Kishan, this is a flat roll.
Okay.
22.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, my connection's been interrupted, that's why. You can't do anything right now. Alright, I'm going to just say right now, I'll end it here because you can't see the rolls and I don't want to just...
Oh, that just popped up.
Oh, now it's popping up. Okay, it's being stupid laggy. And then, Andy, 24 to hit. Sorry, 24.
Sentinel.
You can reaction sentinel. You could reaction sentinel. Yes,
I'll just roll
Yeah.
that quick.
go for it. I will totally be allowing that.
Thwack. 24.
Wait,
That's
that's a hit, which means stunning
Constitution.
a...
Constitution.
Yes.
Fuck. 13 points damage anyway.
It is still 13 points of bludgeoning as one of the heads goes for Andy, sinks its fangs into you, and then whack, you see a staff smack on top of its scaly head. However, one does then quickly worm its way around, and for the last bite, going for Carius, which is 23 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
Alright, so this is where we'll end tonight's session as all the heads strike out in a comic book freeze frame. All the heads have bit into every one of you and have now injecting their venom through hypodermic needle-like fangs. They have,
Kashan's immune and I'm resistant.
well, he'll still take some piercing damage. God damn it. But nonetheless, we will end there on that quick cliffhanger. So, thank you very much for watching. This has been Roll for Story. Next week, we'll be rolling for death saves. So, thanks very much. We'll also see you again on Sunday for Baba Yaga's Dancing Hut, the Witch Hunters, and on Monday for the Curse Breakers, led by our teams here, the Curse Breakers. And then straight after with Tomb of Annihilation, the Last Resort Company. Thank you very much. See you then. Bye.
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 Bye.